Hello and welcome to Saturday here on PaganPerspective. I am your host Brendan, and this week we are talking about our current practice-related goals. So this week's question comes from Yucca, our wonderful Thursday regular host, and we're just pretty much checking in with what are any personal goals that we have set with our practice. So for me, right now, I guess if I was to look at these particular things, it would be one of my main things is I'm teaching at Cloudcatcher Witch Camp next year. So one of my goals is to really be able to help create and facilitate an amazing path, incredible rituals, and just really hold and encourage a wonderful camp for that year. So the story we're working with is Hermes and the Bee Maidens. So it follows on after Hermes has stolen Apollo's herd of cattle and has pretty much become one of the 12 gods of Olympus. And he goes looking for the gift of prophecy and foresight. So he goes and sees his brother Apollo. They make a deal, and Apollo gives him access to what they call the Bee Maidens, or there's a few other different names for them. I'll find some links to the stories below. So we're going to be following that story. So essentially Hermes's journey up to Mount Parnassus, where he meets these three people of prophecy, and really how to see the past, the present, and the future. And working through all of that with the myth and the story will be fabulous. And I'm excited because it's the first time I'll be teaching at my home camp. So it's stressful but also incredible, because all the things that I've wanted to be presented there, I have this opportunity to be able to do that now. So it's being able to do that. So that's one of my big things. So I'm working on that currently, and that's lots of path crafting and just getting all my shit together, really. I'm focused on that. Another one is that I'm currently growing and developing a international community group around bowel work. It's been working on that for almost 2 years now, so really wanting to get that built and developed. So really also personally building my own bowel practices, skills, techniques, all of that sort of thing, so that I can share that with that group and pretty much build a whole educational base that will have a support network with mentorship and be able to create amazing bower spaces within both camp and also outside of camp. I know there's some priestesses in that group that are already holding bowers in the city, which I hope to get to one day. For Wildwood, that's all my kind of reclaiming based stuff. For Wildwood, it would be really continuing the full moon circles that I run, which is kind of Wildwood reclaiming general. Whoever has any interest or skill in witchcraft comes to, and we all facilitate a full moon each month. So continuing to do that is definitely a goal, and then working out the dates I want to be doing next year. If I want to continue doing monthly workings, or if it might be every second month, depending on turnouts and who's interested, because it tends to get quiet over the colder months, but we're coming into summer, so it should get more active currently. With Wildwood stuff, and also, really getting more active within my coven, and potentially looking at taking on aspirants and students. Well, aspirants are Wildwood students. It's one of the levels within our educational system, I want to say, but it's not a hierarchy, because there isn't a hierarchy. It's just like the initiation process sort of thing. Aspirants is the first piece for us. So really getting together with that and doing more work around that. And I guess for me personally, just for myself sort of thing that isn't tradition, it's just really getting back into connecting with the environment around me, and being aware of the seasonal shifts and changes, both within the outer environment and my inner environment. So where are my moods at different times of the year, where is my health and fitness at different times of the year, really that, and my energy levels, all that sort of thing. And then also just observing, I think making a conscious observation, so actually writing, journaling about seasonal shifts. So what flowers are in bloom? Are the trees dropping bark? What's the winds like? How's the weather been? Like, are we in a stormy season? All that sort of stuff. So really, like, reconnecting and focusing on that, and really incorporating that, really, like, that local lore back into my practice. Well, it's still in my practice, but deepening and richening that in my practice. And another goal is I really want to get back into my crafting. I've put it off for so long because I've had such a creative block, and really want to get back into crafting the jewelry that I make and candles and all that stuff. I had the pleasure of making a whole bunch of candles for our big Beltane celebration recently, so I want to get back into doing that, so that would be fantastic. And I have some ideas for some projects I want to try, making these beautiful rainbow tiered candles for the Queer Pagan Men meetups that I'm involved in. So sending those to each of the different states where they're being held, so they'll have that to be able to set up on their table when they're holding their meetings and all that stuff. And another goal would be to continue the work that Matt and I have done with creating a queer supportive network through, you can see my rainbow ribbon here. We did this intentional, I believe it was a 6-week spell working over multiple different meetups to create essentially like a cosmic, magical support network for queer folk that don't have a support network, and allowing that magic to be anchored in different places, so that if that person was feeling lost or needed like a safe space or someone to connect with, that these little ribbons and all that sort of thing would be like beacons, or almost like magnets to draw them in and give them that support, because I'm lucky enough to have an amazing support network, and Matt, the co-priestess that helped work and create all this stuff, also has an amazing support network. But we really did this for those that don't have that. And also, our community here in Brisbane is very like diverse and all over the place sort of thing, and there isn't like a central focused part of like a queer district sort of thing. It's all just over the place. So creating that kind of gives it more connection and link, and hopefully will be ongoing work that we'll keep doing, and it'll slowly change and evolve with time as well. But I think that's mostly it for this week. It was a good reality check. Thanks, Yucca. Just really, where am I focused? What are the things I want to be doing? And now I have a list to work through that isn't just in my head. It's video evidence now, so I'll have to write it down and slowly tick them off as I go through. But I think that's it. Much love and blessings. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you next week. Mwah!